So, Irkai Punai, with nature's blessings, we always start all our sessions. So, thank you so much for joining us here today, Santosh. Welcome to the MSME Problem Statement Session. Myself, Jessica Prabhakar, founder and director of the Purpose Foundation, and we have Lakshmi, COO of the Purpose Foundation. So, welcome to the MSME Problem Statement Session. And as part of the 100 MSMEs that we have chosen for this initiative by the United Nations specific program called Unleash and our NGO, the Purpose Foundation, as part of the second edition of Hack4Purpose. We are grateful that you were able to join and we are going to provide the problem statements for us. This is a unique initiative where we're trying to bridge MSMEs' real problems and provide them with innovative technology solutions through our ecosystem, that is with college students, global mentors, trainers and experts that we have in our ecosystem, so that there is real-time impact. So this is the ultimate goal, and as far as the guidelines are concerned, this whole process starts by June 1st, wherein we will upload the list of all the problem statements you give us in our portal, and then we are going to get the applications, after which by September, a particular group of students will be selected and they will be paired with mentors and trainers, so they will undergo the training process, and then we will commence working on the budgeting for building the prototype, and after which grants will be allocated. There is no payment or cost or charge of anything hidden or straightforward whatsoever from the MSME. No expectation of cost whatsoever. This is purely an initiative to support the MSME sector as much as we can. So there is also the possibility that you might not get 100% exactly the solution you're looking for, because it's again a learning process for all of us as it's a first time initiative. However, we are going to put maximum efforts to try and match your requirement as much as possible. Ultimately, this whole initiative, as I said, is a learning process, and as far as the technology is concerned, showcase a sort of approach we want to take so that we can see that all of them are equally benefited for their efforts and for their hard work. So with that, we'll give it over to you to introduce about your company, clearly the name of your company, your role and designation, the number of years, and the products or services that you provide. So over to you.
That was a very, very brief intro. However, thank you, Jessica, for having us here. This is Santosh here. I'm the founder of LI Circle. That's our brand name. Our company name is known as Trishulavel Eshan Private Limited. We are existent for about 4.5 years now. We're one among the pioneers in the Indian space for lithium-ion battery cycling. And now we're getting into a technology which is one among the pioneers in the global space. That's how the global players recognize us. And now we have put up a pilot plant, which is the first in Karnataka, which is a state in India. Now we are heading towards the refining plant, where we've been already selected by DST, Department of Science and Technology and Ministry of Mines, for further implementations. It's in screening. However, that being said, we have been scaling up the 1,000 metric ton plant to 3,600 metric tons. Right? Since it was nascent, our collection process was easier. We have our supply chains from the Tier 1 companies coming to us. But now, since the lithium-ion battery ecosystem is growing and exploding, the actual challenge comes of the reverse logistics. Right? So I have not listed too many problems, but I have two problems very specifically defined. One is the collection mechanism. If you see the lead acid battery collection or the waste collection mechanism, such as plastics or e-waste, it's mostly informal, right? So let me define the problem statement. How do you convert the informal supply chain and how do you navigate them towards a formal supply chain? So I just put the questionnaire again. How do you leverage the existing mechanisms of the waste collection process for lead acid batteries by upgrading it to the safety and the SOPs for the lithium-ion batteries? So that's about our first problem statement. The second problem statement, it's about the chemistry. Probably when you speak about the high value content material, you'll be able to retrieve that because there is some value it gives, right? But when you speak about the low value materials, such as when you speak about lithium-ion batteries and multiple chemistries, but which is getting dominated in the global space. Close to about 70 to 80%, the global experts anticipate that it is going to be LFP, that's lithium iron phosphate. So how do you extract the critical minerals spent in lithium iron phosphate in a viable manner? So these are the two problem statements that we wanted to give to the the students who are going to be participating in this. So somewhere from 1,000 to 3,600, we've already scaling it up, expanding in this financial year. In about 5 years down the line, we have pipelines of expanding to 50,000 metric tons as a holistic recycling hub, not just doing the reverse logistics, not sorting and grading and giving it to the second life, also doing the mechanical processing and a product level manufacturing. So that's where we stand.
Thank you so much, Santosh, for very, very clearly defining the problem statement. So just to elaborate on the problem statements, the first thing is on the collection mechanism as such, to see how the existing structures for the lead acid can be leveraged for the lithium ion.
The existing mechanisms are informal. How do you make it formal? How do you pull them into organizations?
Okay, so the existing informal mechanisms for the lead acid to convert to formal mechanisms for lithium ion. Okay, perfect. Okay, so this is going to be as such maybe a methodology or a framework that could be developed, right, and maybe pilot tested, right? That's going to be the first.
Yes, we can handhold if there's given an opportunity. We can mentor the students, we can handhold them, do the pilots. We have a very strong supply chain network, so we can implement it as early as possible with the states or central governments if involved.
Okay, perfect. So that will be the first one, and the second one again is more to do with the chemistry and the extraction process, like you said. So for the low value assets in the whole of the recycling process, where what is the viable way to extract, if I'm right, lithium iron phosphate? So if there's a little more details that you can give on what type of solution you're looking for as far as the extraction is concerned.
Okay, so the chemistry that I mentioned, right, it's a global challenge. LFP recycling lithium iron phosphate batteries in a economically viable manner. It's a global challenge, right? There are a few players in China, because they've been dominant and 2 decades ahead of us, they're able to do it in scale. But when you think of a smaller scale, it is not at all viable because of the product itself being low value. Firstly, I don't want to tell that it has to be a chemical process. It can be a chemical-free process, right? Secondly, I would like to put it in one single word: the feasibility check or feasibility report. Meaning, they do a feasibility report, everything comes under it. So your capex, your opex, and your consumables, everything comes under it. So I believe once they are able to do the feasibility report, that will be more than enough. It's not about the capex, it's about the output.
Perfect. I think that sums up the whole thing. Okay. So if you have to also give us a general, let's take in the whole of recycling, right, in the whole of maybe a bigger picture of e-waste recycling or battery recycling, because we are also looking at solutions which the whole of the segment of the MSMEs can benefit from. If you could give us a picture, that would be also great for the students to work on a broader level.
Both the problem statements were well thought, probably since the day we got to know that we need to be telling this. This is well thought. In fact, in LFP refining, we've spent about 2 to 3 years with all the research institutions in India and outside India. So if the students or the groups, whoever is going to approach, has a very sensible solution, we'll be able to immediately validate around the world, because we are speaking to the key players around the world who've been working on this. If they find a solution for both of this, yes, it's a universal solution which can be adopted. For the reverse logistics, we have created something, right, with a well-defined problem statement. We have done something. In fact, the entire journey was into reverse logistics. So we can immediately implement that in the 30 states or 29 states of India. Right? That's how we are seeing as a single point of contact for reverse logistics planning. Once we get a solution, we'll be able to implement it globally.
Okay, so both the cases are universal problems, and if provided solution, it's going to be beneficial for the whole of the industry. One last question before we close. As far as the whole of the battery recycling is concerned, if there is an effluent treatment per se attached to it, right? How is the picture around that, or how is the picture around the hazardous material handling and on the effluent treatment handling? Is there any gaps that could be filled in through innovation and technology there?
Okay, so battery recycling is not new, but we are into lithium-ion battery recycling. With respect to lithium-ion batteries, yes, there is water waste generated, but very minimal. So we have common effluent treatment plants where we've been sending it as of now. But as the market matures, I mean the inflow of battery increases, the capacities of the plants processing it will increase. So it demands an in-house effluent treatment plant. That being said, it is not that hazardous up until the pre-processing. Further, when they get into the refining, as in the hydrometallurgical process, yes, that is a complex problem to handle. And I'm not an expert to comment on the hydrometallurgical process because we have not done it in scale. But yes, it is a complex problem to handle.
If I could take that also as a general statement, like, would you consider it, or should we just stick to the both statements?
I believe for the common good of the industry, these are the two problems. There are multiple things as such, but it is not as significant as these. So I will leave it here. That also being said, I'm so glad that some organization from India is collectively doing this. Not just for the record, in genuinely, because one side you're trying to solve the MSME problem, but I see the bigger problem that you're trying to solve is a skill set development in India, right? So people are getting graduated, we are in the hiring process. Yes, we do have smart minds in India, but it's just that the curriculum has trained them to do good smart things, but without the industry exposure. This is a bigger bridging thing between the skill set. I think you should not just restrict yourself because they really need this. I mean it's a bigger problem. So yeah, anyways, thank you.
Thank you so much. I mean, we are super grateful and overwhelmed that you are seeing that mission that we are on, and we are so glad that we could share this with you and also get to support you working on you and your company to work on such impactful technologies. As much as possible, we are going to keep on rendering the support to the whole of people and for the planet for sure. Thank you for joining us. Thank you so much and have a great evening.
Thank you so much.